Welcome back. Leap Enforcer Podcast, episode 12. Packers Commanders just wrapped up week two, first game of week two, Thursday Night Football. What a dominant win. This Green Bay team, I had high expectations for us this year before the Parsons trade. I feel like this Parsons trade just gave us some juice. It has everybody on this defense they're just flying around. We played, two of probably the top three or four teams from last season's, the playoff run as far as who was hot, going into the playoffs. Two of the best offenses between Detroit and Washington last year. Both those offenses were just high powered, move the ball down the field, scoring in bunches. They could blow teams out. And the Packers in 5 days have completely dominated on the defensive side of the ball. Like, they're not allowing these teams, they can't run the ball. They're not allowing them to pass the ball. Between the two games, they've allowed less than 100 yards rushing for both games, combined. That's just insane. Two of the best rushing teams last year, to hold them to that, it's wild. Parsons has added so much juice to this team that it has a lot of people playing loose. You got Van Ness playing well. You got Wyatt playing well. It frees up Rashawn Gary. It's helping these corners. These corners, I'm going to admit, this is the best game Keyshawn Nixon has ever played. I have been harsh on Keyshawn Nixon. I'll admit it. This is the absolute best game Nixon's ever played, in my opinion. He had, I think it was 5 pass breakups last night. Was sticky defense. And I just think this move with Parsons is just kind of electrified this entire defense. When you see somebody get tackled, there's 5 or 6 Packer players going to the ball, going to the player to tackle. They're just swarming. This defense is swarming. It doesn't matter who it is. And they're not giving up big plays. They're a hard team to run the ball against. They're allowing 2.3 yards per carry or something to opposing offenses, which that would essentially 41 carries, 2.3 yards per carry. That would be better than any other team in 2024 if we look at a yearly stat. It's absolutely insane. They're playing good coverage. They're playing very good zone. They're staying in their zones. They're rushing forward. They're showing blitz. They don't know who's coming. There's times Edger and Cooper, blitzed. There's times, Quay Walker blitzed. It's just, you don't know what's coming, but we can still rush forward and essentially just closes the pocket. And when these quarterbacks don't have time, last night we played two of the most opposite teams when it comes to offense, in my opinion. Detroit's got a quarterback with Goff that's just going to stand back there. He's not going to move. He's not, versatile. He's not going to get outside the pocket. He's not an athletic quarterback. He wants to stand in the pocket. He wants to throw the ball. He doesn't want to move left. He doesn't want to move right. He wants to step up and make throws. Jayden Daniels is the complete opposite. He can make those throws, but he wants to get outside and create. Every single time he got outside and tried to create, the zone, the linebackers, Coop, Quay Walker, they were sitting there waiting on him, and he wasn't able to do much. We had our corners coming up to make plays. Safeties were playing well. This was one of the most balanced, 2 weeks of football that this Packers team I've seen in a long time. The defense literally, can allow the offense to just, hey, we need 20, 25, 30 points. You get us to that, and I feel like this defense can literally win us games. Love, just go out there, be efficient, don't turn the ball over, take a couple shots, and let this defense just be swarming. I mean, it's early. I know it's only 2 weeks in for us, and a lot of the other teams, they're only 1 week in. We don't know who the Lions are, but we didn't know who the Commanders were really either because it's only 2 games. But they're two of the best teams from last season. And a lot of people had these two in the playoffs, and some have either of which going, far, if not both, in the playoffs. So you have dominant wins against teams like this, man, and it makes you feel like this is the best defense in the league. And it's hard not to. I mean, you just took a top five defense and you just dropped, in my opinion, the best, if not one of the best defensive players in the game. You know, I put him ahead of the Bosas, the Garretts, the Crosbys, those guys as far as edge rushers, because those guys are not going to chase down Jaden Daniels. They're going to get to the pocket, but if he gets outside, they're not going to chase him down. Parsons is like an animal. He just wants to just he's firing to the ball, and he's been contagious with this team. So you add somebody like that, and his attitude, like if you watch the post game last night, he he just wants to hit people. He's driven right now because of what happened in Dallas. He wants to win. He wants to play ball. He said he's happy playing ball. And what a better place than Green Bay? Green Bay, there's not much else to do, in regards to like some of the other big cities that people play in. So it's strictly ball. Like it's got a small town feel. So, it's just, I don't know. He seems happy there. And this defense, it has me thinking the sky's the limit for this team. Flipping to the offensive side of the ball, yesterday we were without two O-line. We had Zach Tom out, Aaron Banks out. We did have some guys step up and play, well. I'm thankful that Goot went and got Kennard. I just feel like, we had Belton play, we had Kennard, we had Jordan Morgan. Like we had, we have depth at the O-line. So that's something that, is crucial for O-line, D-line. And I feel like we have two of the best combination of offensive lines, defensive lines in football. Last year, Philly, I felt like dominated on both sides of the ball like that, and they won the Super Bowl. I feel like we're right there now. Like we have a hell of an offensive line. We got a hell of a defensive line, hell of a pass rush. So just as far as a combination goes, I was really happy with how the O-line stepped up yesterday with the depth, and we're able to still, protect Love, keep Love clean, kept him from having to make any turnovers. And, I'm going to go to the Love thing real quick. So, I mean, he had a pretty efficient day. 19 of 31, 292, 2 touchdowns, no picks, QB rating 113.9. Efficient. There's time he took a couple shots, and he's so close. There's a couple deep balls to Golden. He's like, man, I think it's a step away. And those were, some of those would have been like 90-yard touchdowns. It's Golden speed and Love, it's going to take a little bit of I think there's a little bit of chemistry that's got to be worked out there. Golden, he had 2 targets last night, no catches. It'll be interesting to see, what he becomes. I think he's going to be our one, but it's just a matter of him and Love getting, on the same page. But if you flip, I'm going to go to the Jaden Reed thing. That it's terrible what happened to him with the collarbone. He broke his collarbone, so he's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. But when you look at what we have at wide receiver, it's one of the positions we have the most depth at. And you throw in the 2 tight ends, we have so many options on offense. Like Tucker Kraft is an absolute animal. He's one of my favorite Packers. He was last year, he is this year. The dude just he wants to win. He can catch the ball, he'll run you over. He's hard to, get tackled. He'll block. He does kind of a little bit of everything. And then when you look at Musgrave's, he's had, he played well yesterday. He had a couple catches. Then when you look at the wide receiving core, Wicks played well. He had 4 catches. And Malik Heath had probably one of the best catches I've seen in a very long time. I think I seen a stat. It was like a 3% chance that he could catch that ball based on the trajectory of the football, where they were, the distance, and the pressure that Love was under. Romeo Doubs, this is the most fire I've seen under Romeo Doubs ever, and I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. He's one of the best hands receivers we have, and he doesn't normally show a lot of fire, but I think he's like, hey, let's do this shit. And you can just tell when he makes the catch, he fires the team up. The team is super fired up around him, and he's trying to motivate these guys. And I just think when we get Golden going, I know we lost Reed for, what is it, 6 to 8 weeks, I think I said. But we have so many weapons. And, as Love gets a little bit more chemistry, because Musgrave didn't play a lot last season. He was hurt quite a bit, and now Golden is new. And then we got Savion Williams. He's going to be good for us too. I just think as he gets a little bit more chemistry, we get our O line in sync. We get the run game going a little bit more. Josh Jacobs had 23 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown, extending his streak. I think it's 11 games now. I think the record for 11, touchdowns, rushing touchdowns straight games is LT at 12. So one more game, he can tie that record, and then maybe go ahead of that record. We got Cleveland next week, so it's very possible. But with Love and this chemistry, I think when he gets on the same page as Golden and Savion Williams, and we get this, our offense is the one thing that's gets stagnant at times. And I'll go back to the Lions game and the Washington game. The second half, we come out and I feel like it's a very complacent team. I understand a little bit of it because, they may not want to, get anybody hurt. They also, you get a couple touchdown lead, you feel like it's a safe lead with this defense. But when we get into some of these games where, you play a Philly, you play a Tampa, you play a Baltimore, or, Chargers, Bills, these guys that can put up points quick, one turnover, one fumble, one pick six, something, it's a complete game changer. Now it's like, okay, now we have to go score. I feel like we need to put these teams away sooner. When we get these leads and we start putting these teams away, it allows our defense to do what they do best, which is pass rush. Rashawn Gary, Micah Parsons, let them line up. Go get the quarterback. The way we get into that situation, though, is we get the lead, but we got to put our foot on the gas pedal and put these teams away. The problem is we let teams hang around. We did it last year. We get a lead. We let teams hang around. I'd like to see us be more aggressive in the second half, like open up the second half, be a little bit more aggressive, and not just go, run in a 3-yard pass on 3rd and 10. Like let's be a little bit more aggressive. We were able to move the ball very well yesterday in the air when we tried to, and I just think that if we can continue, each week to be a little bit more aggressive, I think that we can really start to put some of these teams away a lot earlier in the third and be dominant on defense. That's where we're best at, and it takes some of the pressure off these corners when we're able to pass rush, and get pressure on the quarterback. So, this is one of the most balanced teams since I can remember, man. I mean, you guys get in the comments on these videos and let me know when was the last time we were this balanced and we were this, had this much energy on defense. Like, our defense can win us games. It's like we just don't need to turn the ball over with Love and no fumbles, like play mistake free, and I love that LaFleur, yesterday got in, I think it was Enigbare, when they rushed up to hike the ball and go for it. And he thought they were going to be a field goal unit, so he went to run out there. And those little, like, mental mistakes, that can cost you games at times. So I appreciate, the fire that LaFleur has with that. So when you look at this team, I think everybody has Green Bay as the favorite now. We went from the 7th highest odds to win the Super Bowl to now number 2. Buffalo's plus 500, Green Bay's plus 600. We are tied with the Ravens at plus 600. I think Philly moved to plus 750. So I mean, we're the favorites now. And I think it's for a reason, but also, Philly's had one game. So I'm interested to see. It's a Super Bowl matchup this weekend with KC. I'm really interested to see what happens there because I feel like KC has to win, but I feel like, Philly is the better team. And that's the 4:25 game. Well, here, East Coast time, 4:25 game on Sunday. So that's gonna be a real interesting game, to see what happens there. But I don't know, man. I like the way this team looks. I think the one thing that we can work on a little bit, I would say, be a little bit more efficient in the second half on offense. That's just my opinion. Parsons is starting to get a little bit more ramped up. I think he's played like 60%. I think it was 60% of the snaps in the first 2 weeks. So he's starting to ramp up a little bit with this extra 3 days off. Essentially, they're getting 9-10 days off before we play the Browns next Sunday. I think they could really get him in tune to get him more conditioned and kind of get the playbook a little bit more, get him more comfortable with the playbook and kind of put him in the position to succeed. So I'm happy with this team. I I just hope that this team could continue, this trajectory for the rest of the season and continue to improve every week. And if you look at our schedule coming up, there's no reason we can't continue to win games and continue to distance ourselves in the division. And depending on what happens with, Philly and some of these teams, we might be able to start getting some room between them. Because if Philly, drops a game to the Chiefs, and some of these other teams like Tampa and these other guys start to lose. But again, our schedule is pretty favorable coming up. The NFC North, I mean, when you look at who do you think is second, I mean, you got to go with Detroit. Their schedule's brutal coming up. So, I mean, if you look at our schedule, we got Cleveland, Dallas, we got a bye week, and then we got Bengals, Cardinals, Steelers, Panthers, Eagles, and then Giants. I mean, the tough games in there, Bengals are good, but they don't have a defense. Steelers are solid. We just don't know what to expect, from Aaron, and I think that's week 8. Hopefully he's healthy. The Eagles are going to be the tough matchup. That's Monday Night Football on November 10th. But a lot of these, I mean, all these games are winnable. Like, even the Eagles game, like, I'm taking us. I mean, the way we're playing right now, it reminds me of what Philly was last year. Their defense was swarming, hell of an offensive line, hell of a defensive line. Hey, Jalen Hurts, go out there, don't turn the ball over. Solid run game. It's very similar, in my opinion, to the way that they looked last year, and I hope I'm right. Like, shit, they won the Super Bowl. So that's my take on this. I'm on cloud 10. Like, I'm on a 10 right now, man. I can't tell you. There's no way I'd be happier. I kind of lost for words because this team has overexceeded expectations, and I had like very high expectations. So, if you ask me to grade this team on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm saying they're playing a 10. 9.5 maybe, and the only thing that I think they can really improve on would be the second half start on offense. I mean, our corners are playing well, which I felt like was the weakest part of our team, which is kind of crazy because, like, Hobbs just came back. Bo Melton's out. Like, Valentine's played excellent. Keyshawn Nixon played the best game of his life. So, and I'm giving credit because I'm always harsh on Nixon, but our corners were our weakest part of our team, in my opinion, and they played lights out last night. So, sky's the limit. I'm not going to go on too much more, but I'm going to run through my game picks. I did post them on like my Instagram and Facebook stories and TikTok, but I'm going to run through the games real quick. Cincy, Jacksonville. I like Cincy. I think they just put up more points than Jacksonville is able to. Defenses are both are okay. Titans, Rams. Rams should win that in a landslide. Dolphins, Patriots. Dolphins are a mess. I think that New England comes in there with that defense. I think they, excuse me. I think they come in there and win that pretty easily. I think Dolphins are going to have a fire sale here soon. I think I already said that, but I think Tyreek ends up in KC in the next probably 4 or 5 weeks because they need wide receivers. Buffalo, Jets. That's Buffalo all day. That's an easy one. Baltimore, Cleveland. Baltimore easily. Dallas, Giants. I got Dallas winning that game. I don't know what the Giants are doing on offense yet. I know they got Neighbors, but I don't know what they're doing at quarterback. I think they should just throw Jackson Dart out there. I think Russ is done. I like Russ. I liked him when he was in Seattle, but I just think he's done. Lions, Bears. It's an interesting game with Ben Johnson playing his old team. I think he's going to know a lot of what they're trying to do on offense and defense. Detroit has to win this game. They cannot go 0-2 in the division to start the season and fall into that hole because that's a deep hole to come out of the way that Green Bay's playing. And as bad as they looked, I mean, hopefully, if they get their stuff together, they're still second in the division. But we'll see. It'll be, I don't know. I don't think Chicago's that good. I don't think Minnesota's that good. I know they played on Monday night, but I don't think either team's that good. I don't trust either quarterback. Minnesota's got a good D, but I just don't know what Chicago's going to be. I don't trust Caleb Williams. So I think this is going to be a telltale sign of who Caleb Williams is and who Detroit is. So it's going to be real interesting to see what happens this weekend. But I think Detroit has to win that game. San Fran, Saints, I got San Fran. I know they're hurt. They got a ton of injuries. I don't know what's going on with that team. I don't know why they can't stay healthy. It just seems like every week they got multiple injuries, and they're like, hey, this guy's on the IR for 4 weeks or whatever. And I know they lost Kittle. I know Brock Purdy got hurt. I think CMC got a little banged up too, but I still got San Fran. I mean, the Saints are terrible. Seahawks, Steelers. I still like the Steelers. I don't think the Seahawks are going to be all that great this season. I like Aaron in that game. I think with their defense, they should be able to put them away. Denver, Indy. I got Denver. Denver's defense is solid. I don't trust their offense as much. I know they've been playing, they played pretty well last week, but I think they have enough defense to put the Colts away because I don't think the Colts are a very good team. Arizona, Carolina. It's kind of a pick 'em for me, but I like Carolina because their defense. I trust Kyler a little bit more on offense for Arizona, so I'm going to roll with them. Philly, KC. I'm going Philly. I just don't think KC has anybody to throw the ball to. I mean, when your leading receivers, are Hollywood and Juju, it makes me a little nervous. Again, why I think they should go get Tyreek. Rice is out for 6 weeks. Xavier Worthy, he's going to be out for a while with that shoulder injury. And Kelsey just is not the Kelsey of old. He's kind of slow. He'll still make catches, but he just doesn't have that speed to, create some space and any deep shots. So, again, he's more of a, underneath, just, 5-10 yards, catch it and try to run people over. But I think they need to go get receivers like Juju and Hollywood. I don't think are going to take them, very far. So I got Philly in that game. Atlanta, Minnesota. It's kind of a pick 'em for me. I like Atlanta in that game. I don't think Minnesota's that good. I don't think Atlanta's great, but I think that they have a solid defense, and I think Penix can get that offense moving with Bijan, and I think they'll be all right. Tampa, Houston. I like Tampa a lot in that game. I think they run all over Texans. I just think that Baker's going to sling it, and Bucky Irving's going to do his thing, and I mean they got a pass rush, but I don't know. I still like Tampa in that game. Chargers, Raiders. I'm going Chargers. Herbert slung it last week. I think he's going to have a hell of a season. I really like that team as a dark horse this year. I think they can, make the playoffs, and I think they're going to make some noise. So I like them pretty big in that game. So that's kind of where we are with the season. And, if you guys didn't see, it was kind of funny. The whole Lambeau Leap thing that happened last year with me with Mixon and McManus. During the intro of Thursday Night Football, I walked downstairs, turned the TV on, and I was getting the dogs water, and I happened to look up, and I just seen me and McManus on TV during that Lambeau Leap. I thought that was kind of cool that they featured that on not featured it, but just threw it up on Thursday Night Football intro. So if you haven't seen that, I got it on my pages, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. So check it out. It was pretty cool. It was just super random that I caught that on there, but I thought that was pretty cool. So if you've made it this far, I appreciate you watching. Sorry I've been coughing, and I've been dealing with some head stuff, man. Sinuses around here in Michigan, weather changing is not fun. So, but anyways, love where my team's at. Let's see how this weekend goes. You Lions fans, you guys better get it together because you don't want to go 0-2, especially in the division. So, all right, I appreciate you guys watching. And again, I'm just a guy with an opinion. Thanks for watching.